Welcome to the Love, Sex and Freedom podcast. This is where you're going to discover how to bring awakening into the body and into everyday life through powerful tantric teachings. Get ready to release, open and step into your true power.
I think it was around 10 or more years ago that I first experienced this body of work through Chantelle in a sister circle she was facilitating. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is actually so logical. I come from like a 17-year background in science, PhD, so very up here. But it just felt logical. And I'm like, hang on, why isn't anyone else talking about this? Why wasn't I taught this in school? Why wasn't I taught this from my family? And at its core, that's what I love about Tantras. It's just like, how do we do human? How do we do this life thing that we get taught everything else, all the practicalities, all the mentalization, but we don't get taught how to be human, how to deal with our emotional body, and how to deal with this sexuality thing that is either over expressed and starts to become unconscious or is completely repressed. And it's the energy that is responsible for every one of us sitting here looking at each other's beautiful selves. And the way that I see it is, for me, it's almost a responsibility to be this blessed in this life. We're not in war zones. We're all showing up here on a Zoom call to learn about Tantra. And there is a lot of pain going on in the world at the moment, and it's not getting any better very quickly. And what I've experienced in my own life and those of others around me who are practicing this and embodying this is like, yes, we are doing that for ourselves because we want to be happy. That's what originally got me into Tantra. I wanted to be happier in myself and happier in my relationship, and I was bloody miserable in both and my job. And all three had huge shifts once after experiencing Tantra that 10 years of psychology didn't. But beyond that, if we're really going to support humanity and global change on this earth, which is needed, then it really does happen one heart at a time. It really does happen, not through talking about it, but through embodying it and being that for ourselves and being that for our children and being that for the people whose lives we touch, whether it's through family, friends, complete strangers, or the client that sits before you going, I don't know what to do because nothing else is working. And that for me was what Tantra brought to me, is the missing piece of actually having embodied shift where I got to meet myself in a way that 10 years living in between India and Australia and practicing meditation and studying spirituality didn't even come close to. And not just that inner relationship with myself, but seeing my outer relationships change and my outer life change in the most incredible ways. So it's my wish for everyone here that this masterclass or the training, whatever is in alignment with your soul's destiny and path, that this can become a part of it, because I think it's really needed at this point in time. Let's receive another breath together. Okay, so the basic premise of every spiritual tradition is to be here now, right? We know that from Eckhart Tolle. We know that from every non-dual teacher. And it makes sense, right? Like if we're actually grounded in this present moment, we can receive the beauty of life
We can stop stressing. It's like here in this moment, what is there? What is there to actually worry about right now? And sometimes there's emotions, and sometimes we're hungry and we need to eat. Sometimes we're tired and we need to sleep. Sometimes we're sad and we need to cry. Sometimes we're ecstatic and we want to laugh and share with someone. Sometimes we're hot and maybe we want to go for a swim in the ocean. Sometimes our energy might be a bit low, so we do something high vibrational. But unfortunately, just even the basics of listening to the body and what it needs when we're exhausted, when we're feeling certain feelings, when we're needing certain things, we don't even know because we're just up here. And life's just going by while we're here. We're not actually feeling anything. And so the biggest master in my life, the two people who have made the biggest difference to my life, my daughter Chantelle and my son Caleb. Because what they showed me is what's possible when you're just fucking present. You know, I remember watching Chantelle in the playground, and she would just say, go away. She didn't want to play with other kids. She just wanted to play in nature. She wouldn't like go, oh, am I going to hurt their feelings? Am I going to do that? No, she'd just be in her own little world with nature, playing. Kids would come over. I don't want to play with you. Caleb, who did want to play with everyone, he wouldn't go like, oh, what if they reject me? He'd just go over and start playing with kids, and they'd play with him. Both of them, when they needed a hug, mum, can I have a cuddle? When they're sad, cry. When they're angry, throw a tantrum. When they're ecstatic, laugh. When they see something that's cool, run over to it. And I'm like, wow. I was already obsessed with being in the present moment and beating myself up whenever I wasn't, but just watching my children and being with them really taught me what it's all about. So there's the most empowered question you can ever ask yourself, which is the premise of the activation stage of the session structure I created for the practitioner training. And by the way, in the practitioner training, my superpower is synthesis. You're not just getting Tantra, you're getting Tantra infused with my somatic nervous system knowledge, with my trauma therapy knowledge, with my shamanic knowledge, and with my meditation non-dual background and my EFT background and NLP. So you're getting a fusion of a lifetime of study and a lifetime of experiencing different modalities. So if you are considering the training, just know that it is very fucking complete in terms of what you could ever really bring into your consciousness as far as what I consider to be the jewels of lots of different modalities, with Tantra being the umbrella modality that is holding them all together, because Tantra doesn't exclude anything, which is so beautiful. So it's not traditionally Tantra, but it is Tantra because Tantra is life. So the most empowering question you can ask yourself is, what's here now? And can I be with that? Can I be with that? Whether it's pleasure in the bedroom, and you would usually be escaping from that because you're so desensitized to life that you don't know how to stay with it. Whether it's pleasure out of the bedroom because you're too up in here to even fucking feel it. And same with your clients. Like, who's talking about just these fundamental principles? If you are ever seeing a therapist or a practitioner, or you are one, and you're not asking the important questions of, what is your relationship to pleasure? And what is your relationship to pain? You're missing the biggest conflict and struggle that people face in their reality, which is that they can't fucking feel either. And they're in a constant sea of distraction from both. Analyzing, trying to fix, trying to understand, controlling, wanting to get secure. It's like both systems, trauma therapy and non-dual spirituality, are obsessed with parasympathetic, are obsessed with regulation and safety. To me, it's a fucking illusion. You can't feel safe in a world that you are trying to control so that you don't ever have to feel your sympathetic nervous system. And sympathetic isn't bad. Sympathetic is adrenaline, it's excitement. Yes, sometimes it's fight or flight, but how many people are talking about that the sympathetic nervous system is also what gets shit done? It's also what fires me up right now to be here with you all. I woke up this morning with everyone, all of you, like in my being, just vibrating. I was up for half the night vibrating, and that's okay because I'm not resisting. What if I was going, oh, what's this about? What am I feeling? Oh, maybe I'm not prepared enough. I don't prepare for anything because I embody this so fully. I know that I can show up here and empty out enough to channel through to you whatever needs to be channeled through. And that's not because I'm superior. That's not because I'm a master. It's because I've learned to let go. And I know that actually the best practitioners in the world, the best leaders in the world, are the ones who are totally present, totally alive, and not trying to plan and control any aspect of reality because reality has got it. This universe that has been here for billions of years could be more intelligent than us. This body that feels so much, this body that's fucking incredible, that keeps us breathing, that keeps us going, that ages, that changes, that initiates itself. This is wisdom. So what if what's here now as the predominant question in your life could be the answer to what you need to communicate, could be the answer to feeling pleasure in and out of the bedroom, could be the answer to deeply listening to your clients and to the people that you love, could be the answer to you actually being honest, could be the answer to you making choices that are actually in alignment with what your body needs rather than being in alignment with you holding on to an identity that you're actually trying to shift out of, but you have no fucking idea how to shift out of. What Tantra says is, this is my identity, an accumulation of my conditioning from my parents and well-meaning teachers and society. And there's so many details of that I could explore for a lifetime. Do you know how many people have said to me, after years and years in therapy, they've had a few sessions and they're like, my life has changed more in a few sessions with you than the 7 years in therapy. I remember the first time I heard that and I was like, wow. And I experienced the same with Tantra. One retreat changed me more than all of the trauma therapy I did because I was focused here and on what was happening here. There are so many intricacies to your past, so many traumas. Yes, you can keep digging into the past, or you can dig into this body, dig into your soul. Ask the question, what's here now? Get honest with yourself and honest with others. Drop the masks. Not be afraid to reveal. And that's hard. And so a lot of the practices in this training, the communication practices, the sexuality practices, the shamanic practices, the inner union practices, the dialoguing with different aspects of yourself in a very embodied, unique way. All of that is designed to support this question of what's here now, to support the knowing of oneself, to be able to bring yourself into a position of, and your clients, that is not who I am anymore. This identity, this personality that's made up of my conditioning is not who I am anymore. Who I am is a mystery that's unfolding moment to moment, and I'm discovering it. And in that discovery, in the dedication to that discovery, I'm generating everything I need to support others in that discovery. And then if I do this training, getting the tools and techniques that all have come from this deep discovery of my own soul, of working with thousands of clients over the last 20 years. So there's this eldership since going through perimenopause that I can feel in my being where actually I'm realizing, fuck, this I needed me 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. And people are needing the wisdom of not wasting your life anymore on caring about what people think, on trying to do things well, on not wanting people to say this or that because it might put you in a sympathetic state, and God fucking forbid, of not wanting people to choose this or that that's in alignment with them because that's going to unsettle you. Tantra is the end of control. It is a complete shift in trajectory. And this is another piece of gold for you from I want people and circumstances to be the way they need to be as a reflection of what I want so that I don't need to feel uncomfortable. To I want life to be life, and I trust that whatever it's offering me is the medicine that I need. Now, if you look at these two options, which one brings more ease? Which one makes more sense? Resist life all you want. It's not going to get you anywhere. You know, the spiritual cliche, what we resist persists, is a cliche for a reason because it fucking does. So think about in your life everything that you resist. Men who are like this, women who are like that, experiences that do this, experiences that do that. Your fear goes out like a projection screen onto a projection screen, which is life. And it reflects back to you everything that you're projecting. People around you don't even have a chance. If you're projecting the fear constantly of abandonment, you're going to be abandoned, guaranteed. If you're projecting the fear constantly of not having any money and being scarce with it and worrying about it, you'll get that reflection. It's not going to be flowing. And so part of the training is looking at beliefs and rewiring them, but at an embodied level. So now, after all of that, thank you for being patient with me. We're going to go into the body and explore something. So just close down the eyes. And let's ask ourselves what's here now. What is here now in this body? And let's first of all just bring in our Shiva, the masculine principle in Tantra, and observe it, allow it, hold space for it, create safety for it to be there. Notice lightness in the body. Breathe with that lightness. Notice tightness in the body. Breathe into that tightness. Be here now. What's here now? And then just start to follow the natural impulses for movement as you feel what there is to feel. And if there's any beliefs running in your life, oh my God, this might happen, that might happen, or I don't want this to be happening, any kind of resistance, any kind of desire to control, where do those beliefs live in your body? Are they creating tension or expansion? And bring your hands to your body. Bring some loving touch that has no agenda. You don't have to be fixed. You're just loving what is inside you. Oh, but give it some sound. Breath, sound, and movement are the three portals to not just witnessing without judgment and creating safety to feel, but actually our aliveness. So open up the mouth, move the body, and sound. And even if the tension doesn't feel good, let it feel good through your movement. Like, what does that tension want? Can you get out of your mind and actually be in this body and experience what's happening? And what's here now? And what's here now? And just keep feeling it. Just keep feeling it and become the openness that can allow the river of feeling to flow.
If you're ready to transform your life and relationships from the inside out, while also gaining the skills to hold others through their own breakthroughs without the need for certification or showing up for live calls, explore our flexible, self-paced practitioner training. The link is provided in our show notes.
Roll the shoulders, move the hips. We hold so much tension in the hips. And then just give your body the direction. Have the intention. Anything that I'm holding on to, anything that's stuck in my system, and just give it all a bit of a shake. And just intentionally go into the sympathetic nervous system and let it feel fucking good. Yeah. We're all trying to control, trying to feel safe in the parasympathetic, but actually sympathetic is part of the flow of life, and Tantra acknowledges that. We have a flow of parasympathetic and sympathetic, always moving in life. And we can try to avoid the sympathetic, and then it comes up in ways that forces us to look at it that are really difficult to feel, or we can just consistently feel it with openness, without resistance. Life is sometimes painful. Suffering is optional. Suffering comes from being at conflict with what is. Let's end that conflict today. Let's be with what is. Shake the body. Any fight or flight that's living inside you, let it release. Maybe you want to punch and just say, no, 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 no. Maybe you want to thrust your pelvis and say, yes, 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 and feel what you're a yes to. Shivaya Shaktiya Nahataya Om. Move your body if you're not. Just see what it's like. Just see what it's like to shake the body, move things up a little. We're alive. We're not dead people. We're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. Aliveness has nothing to do with age. I feel more alive at 48 than I did at 20. Aliveness has everything to do with our willingness to be here now, to stop controlling people in our environment so we don't have to feel. So placing one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and just feeling the electricity moving through your body. Can you stop holding on so tightly, please? Can you be a bastion of hope for people, that they get to just be where they are? They get to return to the emotional and erotic innocence of their childlike nature that is in wonder of this beautiful existence. Can you get honest with yourself? When someone says something that shakes you up, can you actually shake instead of tensing up and saying, don't talk about it? Fucking talk about it. Get honest. Be honest. To anyone who's ever told me to not speak my truth because they feel uncomfortable, leave me alone. Let me be me. Is there a part of you that wants to say that? Is there a part of you that needs to free others? Let's free ourselves from the constraints of masks and hiding. Let's free others from that. Let's just fucking be here and feel what there is to feel and trust life. Trust the life that's flowing through the people who love us, that love is not always rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes love is lightning and eruption and torrential downpour. What I'm interested in is creating communities and supporting people to be fully themselves, to no longer try to avoid experiences, to be here and welcome them and say yes to life. So just reflecting, how often do you want to control how other people think and feel so that you don't have to feel a certain way? How often do you try to control life so that you don't have to feel? And what if you let go of that control, you would no longer miss out on the greatest gift of being a soul in this human experience, which is to surrender to the divinity that flows through everything. And this is what Tantra stands for. You can open your eyes. Tantra stands for that everything is divine, not just the Om Shanti. That's beautiful. But also the parts of life that show us where we're still externalizing our safety. Tantra is the path of safety, being here. That's the only way to be empowered. So it removes codependency. It doesn't say be totally independent, like a lot of non-dual teachings actually inadvertently support. It doesn't say, which, like when I was really diving into trauma therapy, the question always was, and what would your little girl want? And that's great to discover what she wants, but it's not the full that's not the full picture. I don't want my little girl to control my life, to always have the driver's seat. So we begin to adult with Tantra. We actually reparent. There's practices to reparent that child ourselves. So yes, she can be part of the decision making, but so is our adult feminine, so is our adult masculine, so is our dark masculine, dark feminine, light feminine, all these different components and archetypes that you can be initiated into through the training and initiate your clients into, where the dark feminine feels everything fully and says, don't fucking shut me up. I am here. This is my truth. This is my alignment. And can you feel what you need to feel when I annihilate your ego, when I annihilate your safety that's based on security, which is an illusion of safety, because true safety is in your own soul, when you can be here with what is and surrender to it instead of trying to control me so that you don't have to feel what you're feeling. And Kali, or the dark feminine, is not some fucking diva with her nose in the air carrying on like a 2-bob watch and demonizing people and saying you have to hold space for my Kali. Kali is the force that says, I am going to bring you to your knees and slice off your head so that your ego that wants to control me and life and everyone in it dies. And what can be reborn is a navigation of life that comes from a soul, personality, consciousness, and erotic fire that surrenders, that trusts, that knows that if we focus here, if the things we were trying to control were meant to be, they will be naturally. Can we live in our naturalness? That's what Kali says. Can I be in my naturalness? Can you be in your naturalness? Can we just see what's here now and stop trying to control reality according to your ego that doesn't want to feel anything other than superiority and greatness? And then our dark masculine. that can actually take action on our goals, that can enforce things, that's got gumption, that's on purpose, that's like, let's fucking do something about this, instead of just roasting in and lamenting in the past. Let's move forward. The light feminine, who embodies the universal heart of love as a force, not just something personal, but something that permeates with compassion and softness and receptivity, and that nurtures. The light masculine, that knows oneness beyond all separation. There's all of these components, and we spend so much time not embodying the powerful archetypes that are available to us, so that we can no longer be an accumulation of our conditioning and actually be the soul we came here to be. We're just controlling our experience by sitting in stillness, by doing our affirmations, by analysing our past and our trauma. It's time to stop. It's time to resurrect. It's time to remember our wholeness and explore every part of us as worthy of our attention and love, and really feel that fully through the body.